James Carville is a Democratic Party strategist, and he has absolutely been the problem. A huge part of the problem. People like James Carville, he was Bill Clinton's lead strategist in his 1992 campaign. Bill Clinton, who gutted welfare, exploded the prison population, enacted right-wing legislation that the Republicans could never dream of, and truly was a Republican at heart. That's Piers Morgan doesn't understand this. When you say right-wing Democrats or conservative Democrats, like his mind explodes.
The second phase was obviously the sort of coronation of Kamala Harris without any rivals really to try and see off first. With hindsight, or maybe you felt it at the time, but was that a smart move? I mean, obviously it didn't work out well, but would it not have been better, as I was saying at the time, to just go through the convention and actually have a few people put their hat in the ring?
So, you're right. I said in the New York Times that Harris is going to win. I was wrong. If you look at July the 7th of 2024, I said that he's going to drop out. He should. And Presidents Clinton and Obama should host 4 regional town halls and invite 6 candidates and open the process up. Had we done that, and this is there is more talent when people say the Democrats are dead, but they don't have anybody. That's insane. There is more political talent currently in the Democratic Party than any party I've seen in my lifetime. Now, people don't know about it because we don't put them front and center. And that's what I was driving for. So could you imagine if you'd have had President Obama, President Clinton in, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, having a town hall with 6 candidates? Could you imagine if you'd have gone to the convention and no one would have secured the people would watch, they'd be interested.
Of course.
It'd be a storyline, all right? You got to create events for people. If for people like you to cover, you would be going crazy. You'd be, oh my God, we got this person and that person, and look what's going on here. And the New Mexico Democratic Caucus is meeting. We're waiting to see if they're unified behind blah, 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 blah. It's so easy to do. And we were just by the time, so I wrote that on July 7th. He drops out on July 21st. I think the convention starts somewhere around August 16th. Don't hold me to the exact date, but I'm not very far. Well, in that time, they had to pick a vice president. They had to write a speech. They had to rearrange things. And so Harris gets Joe Biden's staff, keeps the headquarters in Wilmington, keeps the furniture, the artwork, and doesn't even have her own people. And when you run, you got to have your own people. And most of them were lobbyists, so they were scared to run on anything popular, like, say, raising the minimum wage or taxing people with high incomes and using that money to help young people buy a house or rent a house. They said, well, that would look anti-business. Oh, my God. But my criticism, actually, is they should have run further to the economic left than they did.
Really? So that's interesting, because it struck me one of the problems Kamala Harris had was a bit like with Hillary Clinton, actually, I felt, was that, and she played a very Hillary playbook in the end. She just got a lot of famous people to go on stage with her and all that kind of stuff. But if you'd taken 100 Americans outside a subway station in all the major cities and said, give me 3 things that Kamala Harris stands for. Same with Hillary. I don't think they could have answered that. Whereas Trump, for all his faults, is a supreme marketer. He knows how to convey message better than any politician I've seen in modern times. It may not be a message you like, but he's a brilliant marketer. I felt, you touched on it there, that Kamala, they couldn't sell this. But part of it was her own inability to sell herself and to sell a message of anything for America. I still don't really know what she was planning for her America. As you say, she went on The View and said she wouldn't do anything different to Biden. But that's not a new, refreshing, exciting message. That's more of the same, folks.
Suppose you just said, America needs a raise. I'm going to give them one.
Right.
We're going to raise the minimum wage to $14.25 an hour.
Right.
People need, young people are struggling in this economy, so we're going to ask old people to throw a shekel or two in the pot and try to help them out. Okay, to do that, then some people say, well, she's there.
The Democratic Party in the United States, that's something that's can change, right? It's a political party, so it's not static, it's not fixed. They could become something different over time. It's a political party, it's not a philosophy. A philosophy is static, it doesn't change. So this is what he doesn't understand this, because he comes from England, where they have a conservative party, right? A party called conservative. So it's not a philosophy, conservatism, it's a party, as well as a liberal Democratic Party. So so liberal is another one, where is another term fixed to a party there. Whereas in the United States, we have the Democratic Party, which is a potentially changing entity. So they can change their viewpoint from, I know this is kind of complicated, but from liberal or progressive to conservative, because the party could potentially change. The viewpoints of the people inside the party can change. Whereas a philosophy, the definition of a word or term, a philosophy doesn't change. Because the party employs people, right? It runs candidates who can run as a Democrat, but you don't know what's inside their mind until they enact legislation. Because they can even, it's not even what they tell you. You have to see how they vote. So James Carville has been the problem over many, many years. And part of the Democratic Leadership Council, where Bill Clinton came out of. He came out of the DLC, the Democratic Leadership Council, trying to win back middle class, suburban voters, trying to bring them into the fold of the Democratic Party and becoming more right wing. So people don't understand. I got a bunch of pushback when I discussed a Piers Morgan video where he didn't understand the concept of a conservative Democrat, and I think it has to do with the fact that he's from England. Bill Clinton, anybody that's obtained power in the United States, elected office, for the most part, they're all conservative Democrats. There are very few progressives. Bernie Sanders would be an example of that. I honestly can't even think of another one, because used to put Elizabeth Warren in that category as well, but she first of all ran against him in the primary and tried to sabotage his campaign by staying trying to stay in the campaign while all the other people dropped out. All the right-wing conservative Democrats dropped out, whether it was Bloomberg or Klobuchar, Buttigieg, they all dropped out, and she stayed in. So she took votes away from Bernie Sanders. So you can't even consider her to be a progressive at this point. Just another disgusting person. Well, anyway, just to give you the background. So James Carville, the problem, I can't fix it. I couldn't find any information that fixed him specifically to the Democratic Leadership Council, but he's a Southern Democratic strategist from Louisiana. I mean, he's part of the Democratic Leadership Council, or what was, and part of the problem in this country. And he came on and started saying that he thought the Democrats should have been more left-wing. They should have been more economically progressive. Are you out of your mind, you moron? This is the guy who is really behind the Bill Clinton problem and the sabotaging of the working class in the United States. But he feels he can speak freely now because he's no longer associated with the Democratic Party. He's doing a podcast, so now he's got to get viewers. You are a piece of garbage. I hate you with every fabric of my being, because now he's trying to get viewers, and there aren't a lot of right-wing Democrats out there in the viewing populace that are going to view a YouTube show. You are disgusting. When I say, are you out of your mind? He should be promoting an economic agenda that benefits working class people of all creeds and colors. But his entire career has been fighting that. His entire existence has been fighting that. So that's why it just rings very hollow now, because now he's trying to give viewers just sick and twisted people, sick